1939, Gone with the Wind, highest inflation-adjusted grossing film, receives its premiere at Lowe's Grand Theater in Atlanta, Georgia. Of course, Atlanta. In 1944, World War II, a single-engine UC-64 Norseman carrying U.S. Army Air Force's Major Glenn Miller was lost in a flight over the English Channel.
I had forgotten about that, Cliff, that Glenn Miller had died in a plane crash.
Yeah.
That was a big loss.
Yep. In 1961, Adolf Eichmann, on trial in Israel, sentenced to death after being found guilty of 15 criminal charges, including crimes against humanity, crimes against the Jewish people, and membership in an outlawed organization. And in 2001, the Leaning Tower of Pisa reopened after 11 years, and $27 million spent to stabilize it without fixing its famous leans. John, have you ever been to the Tower of Pisa?
Yes.
Yeah. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, nice place to visit. Tons of pictures. Very old structure.
In 37 AD, the Roman Emperor Nero was born. He didn't live very long. He died in 68. But he did get to fiddle while Rome burned. In 1890, Sitting Bull, Papa Lakota tribal chief, passed away. He'd been born in 1831. And in 1966, Walt Disney, American animator, director, producer, and screenwriter, co-founder of the Walt Disney Company, passed away. He had been born in 1901.
Didn't he die of lung cancer or something like that? Because I know he's a big smoker.
Yeah. I don't know that, but yeah, I suspect. And today is Bill of Rights Day. So, starting with some somewhat pleasant news, down in Baltimore, Navy rallied from a 16-7 second-half deficit to beat Army 17-16 on Saturday. In its second consecutive win in the rivalry, giving the midshipmen back-to-back wins in the series for the first time since 2014-18. Also gives them the first back-to-back 10-win sessions in program history. It finishes the year at 10-2, winning the Commander-in-Chief's trophy in both years. So, good year for Navy. So, the question, globalize the intifada. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about that. And now we have 15 Hanukkah celebrators. A couple others were murdered at Bondi Beach in Australia. Father and son shooting team. One of the two are dead, and 2 police were shot.
Yeah, it's a real shame, but from what all the reports I've been hearing is that there was some information shared with Australia from the Israelis, and they kind of ignored it. So, I mean, this is not something new in Australia from what I'm reading on all the reports. It's unfortunate that that they didn't clamp down more on these anti-Semitic rallies and other things that were going on.
And it turned out, the news report I saw said that the police were not real quick to respond. Not very good.
Yeah, it's another unfortunate thing with anti-Semitism.
Yeah. So, do we really want to globalize the intifada? I mean, people. Why are people saying that? Do they understand the implications?
Yeah, do they understand that that means that either you're with them or you're against them, and if you're against them, you don't deserve to live. I mean, I just, you're right. I don't know why people don't understand what that really means. This is, it's very, very serious. The Israelis understand it, I can tell you that. But here in the United States and other countries, they don't really understand what that means. Or they're just, I don't know if they don't understand or they're just ignorant.
I'll take ignorant.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it amazes me that people get caught up in these rallies and protests and causes, and they don't look beyond just the surface. And the media and the people putting out this propaganda count on that people won't take the time to understand what's really going on and what that really means for them, what it could mean for them. Those people that are out protesting, if this happens where these people take over, they'd be killed just for protesting. They just don't understand.
Yep. So, and down in Providence, Rhode Island, there are 2 dead at Brown University from a shooting. The suspect has been arrested, Benjamin Erickson, but no details initially. He was in the Army as a infantryman, sniper, turns out. This all happened in the classroom of a Jewish professor.
They'd let him go, Cliff.
They let him go?
Yep.
Well, I didn't pick that up this morning.
6 hours ago, it said detained person to be released.
Ah. So, and another Jewish professor out in Redlands, California, had his house shot up, 20 bullets, apparently over his Hanukkah display. So, yes, a very active season. So, it's incumbent on you to know your surroundings. Don't bunch up, especially in your car and left turn lanes. In my mind, that's the Langley rule. A bunch of people were caught in a left turn lane by terrorists, and none of them could get out of the way because they were all so close together. So, you got to plan to run, hide, or fight.
They're basically saying on the Brown University, again, the latest news is that they detained this person, and they're saying it's unfortunately that the name was released to the public, but they're going in a different direction now for looking for somebody. So it's, I mean, it's very unfortunate that this kind of information gets leaked, and I really think that the person who leaked it, if they could track them down, they should lose their job. Because if they don't know for sure that the person is somebody that they want to arrest, then they should protect that person's privacy. This is not uncommon to bring people in and question them for when they may be a suspect, but then it doesn't work out. And it's unfortunate, but people are leaking stuff because they either get paid money or they have an agenda that they're leaking that information.
Yeah. Or helping out a friend.
Yeah, but are they really helping out when it comes that the person is not really a suspect?
No, they're not. But speaking of that, speaking of leaks, there's a leak out saying that Mr. Cole, who had been arrested for the pipe bombings the evening before 6 January, isn't the right person. So I don't know where that's going.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he admitted to doing it, too, on top of it. So
Yeah.
you know, we'll have to wait and see.
He has certain mental challenges. The report I saw said that the leaker said that such people are prone to confessing to crimes that they didn't commit. I don't know about that. I'm not a psychiatrist.
But I think that's interesting. The problem is like Kathy gets stuff all the time about certain things on her phone, and we know it's fake AI or fake reports, and they're just looking for clicks on that site so they can earn money. And it's scary how real some of this stuff looks.
Yeah. I saw a report over the weekend that President Biden's library is not collecting very much money. So,
well, do they really want to? Some of the stuff that would be going in that library, I don't think they'd want going in there. I think there's more stuff coming, and that's not going to be very flattering for him in his library.
have you seen that the Obama library in Chicago?
No, I have not.
I've seen pictures, but it's not very fancy. It's slab walls, high, thick, not picturesque. Do presidents need libraries?
Well, I doubt they need them. It's just sort of happened over the years that they've had them. I mean, I think it's because people want to know stuff about the president, all the documents they want to preserve when they were in office or what their life was like. So, I mean, they were president, so there's a good chance there's interesting things there.
Yeah. Well, he was president. I think he deserves his library. I guess if someone asked me, I'd be willing to chip in a 10 spot.
Speaking of President Obama,
these libraries, they're not paid for by the taxpayers. They're not maintained by the taxpayers. So, I mean, if they want to have a library, they can have a library. Wouldn't be any difference if I wanted to, donate to a university and put my name on a building. You know, the taxpayers didn't pay for that, so.
well, Mike, isn't it true that you can use your campaign funds for the library?
That I can't answer. I'm not sure about that.
I mean, a lot of these, yes.
Yeah, a lot of these politicians, when they decide not to run, they got this money in the bank and they use it for different things. I've seen that happen before. So.
Yep, here we have Marty Meehan with all that money. So, Eileen, did you join?
Fru just got here.
Oh. Hi, Fru.
Good morning, Claire. Morning, Mike.
Good morning, Fru.
John.
Morning, Fru.
Yes, I'm here, Cliff, too. Good morning, everybody.
There she
Morning,
is.
Eileen.
So, we were just talking about President Biden's library. I saw where the amount of money in the fund comes from leftover campaign donations. I wonder if Marty Meehan is going to have a library built to him. He has a big leftover campaign fund.
The last news report I heard about Marty's money was he gave it all away to his own charity.
That makes sense.
Yep. To the Marty Meehan charity. Yep.
So, I'm glad Fru's here. because I'm about to talk about President Trump's peace efforts. They seem to be sort of dwindling away. Cambodia and Thailand are back at war, and I think maybe Fru has more information. I think Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo are back at war. Is that right, Fru?
Yeah, I was listening to the U.S., Rwanda, and Congo at arms. The confrontation was very visible there, and then the accusation fighting across the border. But you would definitely, it is very, very hard for us to sit here and know exactly what is going on. Because these things that we call peace treaty, people who negotiate peace are doing it in their own interest. What is in it for me? What is in it for me? Because mostly when they are going to Africa, they are going there to use the resources, what is underneath, and come out and say they are doing peace is deals. So when you see the aftermath of this and what has always come out with the West and Africa is they plant the seed of future problems. That is because when there is problem, that is when the outsider benefits a lot. They cannot have a good interest for Africans to mediate. If they want to settle peace, they let the Africans sit and settle it on their own way by their own culture. You saw the Truth and Reconciliation in South Africa after the Rwandan genocide. You saw how they used the African way to bring peace in that region. When the West come, they are coming in with their own philosophy for their own interests. But the media, since the media is the one that shapes the narrative, they don't tell you exactly what the change that they have done in there against these people.
Yeah. Then we have Ukraine. I thought maybe we were on the edge of peace in Ukraine, but it doesn't seem that way to me. Has anybody got any thoughts on Ukraine?
If you listen to Jeffrey Sachs, you will really understand the truth of what is going on in Ukraine. He's an American economic scientist, philosophy and whatnot. There were so many views over the weekend. I will let Mike or anyone chime on this before I come back in.
Yeah, the Ukraine war is unfortunate, but Putin is not going to be doing anything as far as stopping that war until he figures it's in his benefit. And then Ukraine has its own problems with the political scandals and graft and corruption in their government. So neither side is innocent, but unfortunately people are dying every day there. More and more people keep dying. And it's very unfortunate that this war is still going on. And I just don't see any end to it unless Putin decides that he is either being squeezed financially, it's not worth it anymore, or until he gets back what he wants. He wants to take over Ukraine. If he wins there, then he'll look at other places to take back for the Soviet Union.
Cliff?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm good. I was just calling your attention back that Mike was done. Thanks.
I miss it, actually. Call our attention back to what?
I'm good.
No.
Bruce back. Okay.
Sorry, man, I had to.
It's unfortunate. I was saying, Fru, if you didn't hear all of it, it's very unfortunate because no side is benefiting. You've got the corruption on the Ukrainian side in their government, and you've got Putin, who doesn't really care. He just wants to take back over, bring back the Soviet Union again. And his people dying, it doesn't affect him at all. It's not great for his economy, because he's using all the money he's getting from oil and that to fund the war. If that money goes away, then he's going to have some real big problems.
Well, Mike, I beg to disagree. This has strengthened Putin more than ever before. You see, as Jeffrey Sachs was analyzing economically and politically, because if you hear the history, Putin has never had any intention of extending into Europe. But it is the West and Europe. Now Europe is even at a breaking point, because the unity of Europe, of the European Union, is based on American protection. Because of that, they never have a protection of their own militarily or economically. They are regretting now. Putin had advanced many times of peace negotiation before this war. Everything is explained in that discussion. But right now, while you are saying, because of the Western sanction and the sanction from us here, when you criticize that, people say, why are you doing this? Go where you came from. It has strengthened Putin's dealings with China and brought them economically and militarily closer. It has strengthened Putin with Iran, India, and Brazil, and the BRICS nation. They have a pipeline that was supplying gas to Europe. Putin has actually channeled that to China and India now, getting more money by passing the dollar exchange. And this is long-term investment. So this opens the way now that, and even the Middle East powers, Saudi Arabia and all, they are trading with Putin, not with dollar. So in which case you see that whatever we're doing here, we are empowering and opening opportunities for these people, not to rely on the West, because the West is cannot be trusted.
So why does Putin need to continue the war with Ukraine then, if he's getting all this economic and strengthened ties with China and Iran and all those other countries? What's the purpose of him continuing this war with Ukraine then?
According to Professor Jeffrey, is the fact that the West, they are caught in the bind. Putin had before this war, Putin did not want the war to go ahead, because according to when Gorbachev and everything came, they didn't want NATO to encroach close to Russia by Ukraine being part of NATO. And even he quoted the speech by the former Chancellor of Germany, Marcus. He said that if ever the Western world ever get into Ukraine, that's an open declaration of war, because the Russian had made that clear. She mentioned that the French and in 2008, the French and the Germans, they opposed this idea.
But the thing is that Europe was not going to let Ukraine into NATO to begin with, and they never have any intention of letting Ukraine into NATO. So I think that's somewhat of a false narrative with the West and Russia. You know, it's the culture and the thinking of Russians is a lot different on how they look at things than the West. And somebody like Putin, who comes from the old regimes, he still thinks of Russia as the Soviet Union, this great power. And he wants that back. And he's used China and India and all that to help him with that. But he still wants that. He wants that Soviet Union back. And it's not that simple as far as, with him saying they don't want the West in Ukraine. The West was in Ukraine already. Once the Soviet Union split up, the West was in some of these countries already. So, you're right that he has strengthened his ties with China, because China is using Russia as a proxy to strengthen their standing in the world. But I've been reading more and more about the BRICS, and the dollar is still the main currency in the world. and it's going to take decades, not years, but decades before they think anything's going to happen. And I've read numerous articles from different people on that. And so, I mean, if they were that strong, then things would have changed. The value of the Chinese monetary unit is not increased against the dollar that well at all. So this is something that obviously is going to be long term. But, you know, I look at more as the people dying every day. Why does that need to continue?
Mike, if you look in terms of politics, in terms of landmass, in terms of population and economic power, China and Russia, Iran, Nigeria and African countries with Brazil, who has more leverage now, and Russia is part of that. Because what the sanctions have done is it has forced all these countries that none of them is safe. They have to bind together. But that same narrative that they are going, that's the Western type of narrative. And after the collapse of the Soviet Union, the US became the unilateral police of the world. They can do anything. But right now, that power has been diminished by Russia, China, and all of them coming together. If you believe it or not, I mean, you will see it. That's how the Roman empires come and go. They don't believe it. But Professor Sachs is warning. It is not coming from me. And these are seasoned Americans who deal with the Soviet Union from the very beginning, and that this crisis started. Russia has grabbed more land, almost 20% of Ukraine than they had anticipated. And he said that this war will end in the battlefield and Russia will win because there is a lot of desertion from the Ukrainian side.
Excuse me, boys. I got 2 text messages I'm going to read whether you like it or not. Good morning. War is big business. If they were serious about wiping people out, there'd be nuclear weapons in play. Page 2. Why during the pandemic was Raytheon working around the clock? Back to Cliff. Thank you.
Yeah, to Mike's point, I think a lot of people were talking about bringing Ukraine in. It may not have been government policy, but people were talking about that. I'd like to move on to the other war that we haven't fixed, is Israel and Hamas. Israelis just killed another Hamas leader over the weekend. Hamas is killing Gazans who they think are not loyal. That doesn't seem to be coming to a good conclusion. Either we're at phase 2.
They're born hating each other's guts. What do you expect? As long as hatred is still professed on both sides of the fence there, their mothers teach them hate thy neighbor from the moment of birth. When that goes away, the war will go away.
Have they gotten the last hostages back? Isn't there 1 or 2 hostages that are still not been returned yet?
They're dead.
Yeah, but I understand that, John, but they're supposed to return the bodies.
Yeah, well, they probably don't know where they are.
I think the bodies have all been returned.
Yeah, it's, it's unfortunate, but unfortunately humans, I look at, are we going to destroy ourselves? It's like we just can't help it that we want to, kill each other. I don't, I was talking to Kathy the other day about the shootings and all the wars and all that. And I'm not a super religious person at all, but, I did go to Catholic schools. And they talk in the Bible about end of times. And it would be going on for, I don't know, 7 years or whatever they put in there. And I just see more and more of and maybe I'm reading more into it, but I see this chaos and this killing and this, people hating each other just more and more. And I'm wondering, are we at the end of times? It's just my personal opinion.
Oh, don't start the end of time stuff, Mike. Okay, I'm going to read this text. The Ukraine war was started by the West back in 2014
Yes.
Sleepy Joe's kid was on the board of Burism. Ring a bell? Ukraine is almost as corrupt as America. Back to you, Cliff.
I'd like to think America's not quite that corrupt.
We are. We are. Right now in the United States, it's no matter what the calamity is, like, can you imagine Rhode Island? They arrested the wrong doggone guy. They got to let him go. And the first thing they did was they said, well, we had to let him go. And then the question goes, well, what do you want to tell the media? What fairy tale do you want to make up and tell the media so we look good? What's going to keep the shine on us? That's the attitude of administrations all across the United States of America. What's going to keep us looking good? Thoughts?
Well, John, just one little correction there. He wasn't arrested. He was detained as a person of interest that they were interviewing. So there's a big difference. He was not arrested.
Thank you, Cliff.
But those are all semantics. Why was you look at it? Why was he arrested? He was probably arrested because of how he looks. First of all, he becomes a suspect by visual appearance.
Gentlemen, my point was Michael, you missed it altogether. Okay, the point is, administrations just make stuff up to make themselves look good. The fact he wasn't right, he was detained. I don't care. The administration will make stuff up to make themselves look like champions. And if you can't see through that in Rhode Island this morning, I expect you to hit rewind and listen to what they have to say. They're making themselves look good.
There was also this picture where this young entrepreneur has his truck, was going for business. ICE arrested him. He kept on saying that he's an American citizen. They pulled him out of his truck and held his hands. And he said he's an American citizen. They will not. There was one woman who was videotaping everything. Then after the ICE guys, they say, "Oh, we are sorry, we are just." But why do you do that? The color of a person should not condemn him not to be American.
I never saw the guy that they apprehended or they held. I don't know what Mike wants to call it, but the guy they were talking about, Rhode Island, the suspect that they let go, what color was he? I never saw a picture of the guy. Can you speak to that, Fru?
I didn't know that one. I knew, but this one in Texas.
He was a Caucasian, probably a Scandinavian. He's from Wisconsin.
Oh, a cheesehead. Okay, what a shock. Both sides lied about wanting peace. And you are correct. The parents of these children will always teach hate, both sides.
So, there was a headline in the New York Times that opinion on Sunday, Bondi Beach, which is the Australian site of the massacre. Bondi Beach is what globalized the intifada looks like. Is that right? Is it?
Well, you mentioned something about Gaza and that Cliff. I just want Mike did respond. I just wanted to add that the way you present it, you make one side so holy, and you make one side the one that kills people indiscriminately. And you make one side their own killing is accepted. We need to be fair, knowing that blood is blood. You cannot come on the air and take sides and always making the other person a victim. People see through that, and you give excuses and defend.
Well, I didn't think I was.
The presentation of it shows that the other side was doing something good, while the other side is always doing it's looked as they are killing. They don't have a sense of human in them.
Well, in fact, Hamas has conducted a number of executions.
Compared to?
What?
Compared to what? To who?
To the people of Gaza.
Okay, say it on the other side that they are assassinating their own people. These people that they are assassinating, do you think they have families? Do you think they have relatives?
Yeah.
In the eyes of others, just as Mandela was a terrorist in the eyes of others, but after that he was celebrated. So once we are looking at things, we look at it from that prism.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a fact. One man's terrorist is another man's patriot.
But we should not glorify the other person.
So, the question is this, that I was trying to pose is, this expression, globalize the infatata that we're seeing around, do we really want to do that?
Who's the infantado? You don't know who the infantado is? No, I don't. I don't think the audience does either. We can go around the room if you want and ask what the infantado is. Mike, what's the infantado? While you're thinking about that answer, got two texts. How did the gunman enter the building? Start there. Remember, there are similar situations in Lowell. A guy walked around with a gun. Good point. I heard it's mostly peaceful ceasefire in Gaza. Newly appointed Barry Weiss from CBS tells us everything we need to know. Back to you, Cliff. No, I'm sorry. Mike had a question. Mike, what is that word Cliff said?
I'm sorry, what was that again?
Cliff used the word. I have no idea what he's talking about. I asked you what it is.
You're talking about the infantata?
Yeah, who's the infantata? What is the infantata?
Well, it says here, I was looking it up while you're talking.
Oh, but did you know before Cliff said it?
Yeah, it's supposed to mean an uprising or shaking off. And so, I mean, I don't know if it's comparable to a revolution or whatever, but I mean, it's, they're against, it's an Arabic term and they were using it against Israeli occupation. So that's what they were saying there. But, I don't understand this thing. Okay, I understand with the Palestinians and Israel, but I don't understand global infantata. That's the one thing I don't understand.
I didn't know what an infantata was. Oh, Cliff, when you use the word infantata, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, I go with Mike, shaking off. It's a effort to shake off, in this case, the Israeli, what they see as the Israeli oppression of Gaza. Well, and I would say probably also the West Bank.
Here's what the audience thinks. Isn't that an Italian dish?
No.
So when we use that far out Martian language that Cliff likes to creep out there like Kutandra, it's a Kuntandra. What's that, Cliff? Well, I just made the word up. I figured no one would ask.
But the question is, when you say infata, excuse my pronunciation, is sending a message, a code message out there. That word comes from who? From which group? And if this group are labeled the bad ones, using that word worldwide is in itself there is a lot that is being sent out through that to build up a narrative.
Yeah.
And the media will take that narrative and the whole world will go with it. It starts just like this. Give a dog a bad name and then kill it.
So yeah, Hamas has been winning the propaganda war for however long that's been going on. They're almost over 2 years. Hamas has been winning the propaganda war. We've had all these demonstrations at universities in the United States, and one of the themes has been globalize the infantata. I'm sorry, I mispronounced that. Intifada.
Oh, that's a whole different story, the Intifada, Cliff. Oh, sorry. That's a whole different story. What about, did the trials ever happen in Israel for the big goof up that the Israelis missed this attack that started this war? Did the trials ever happen, how they just ignored all that? And yet, Israelis right now are boasting, we told Australia this was going to happen. We told them.
Well, John, they always is diverting attention to the main issue. When once they do this, the media does this. I mean, in the Middle East, it's all dark now. The media doesn't cover it anymore. Because when the media takes off its camera from that place, you know what is going there, what is going on. They will focus somewhere else and create another narrative.
That's exactly what's happening this week. It's to take
social media, people are more educated, more sensitive than before, that they used to only watch the mainstream media for their narrative. And that is why you see things are unfolding the way they are unfolding, because they cannot be controlled anymore.
Bro, just hooking onto your tow truck there, it's to get our film, get the camera lens off of Venezuela. That's what's going on here. The Israeli war was happening last week, but it wasn't, Venezuela erupted. Oh, put the cameras on that. And the powers, the global powers that are out there, the deep state, they don't want Venezuela, they want Venezuela gone. So let's go back to the Israeli war. That's my take. Back to you, Cliff.
So, my question is, if we find a lot of shooting up of things of Jewish Hanukkah celebrations, synagogues, beating up on Israeli students and universities, is there going to be some retribution from that globally? Will there come a time when when mosques are threatened, Muslim businesses are threatened? Are we facing that with this expansion of the Israeli-Gaza conflict to the world?
Well, if I'm going to jump in here with an answer, I think this is a wake-up call for every church in the United States. Christian, Muslim, Jewish, I don't care. You're going to have a cop in your building when you're having services. I don't care what it is. It can be religious education, after school stuff. You're going to have a cop in that building, and if you don't have a cop in that building, there's somebody with a gun that wants to come and kill your flock. And we got to wake up to this, and it's got to stop.
But isn't that such a sad commentary on humanity? And now that we have to go that length.
Now, Mike, I know you're going on a cruise, so please observe when you go to different countries how the armed militia are all over the place. You wouldn't dream of whipping out a gun and shooting a bunch of kids because there's somebody with a machine gun right in the town plaza. That's how other countries handle this. We don't. We just go like, oh, everything's okay. Don't worry. It's a church, a place of peace.
True.
Well, look at the backlash when Trump sent the National Guard into some of these cities to make it safer. The backlash was unbelievable.
I'll take the National Guard any day of the week in downtown Lowell. Any day of the week. I'll take them. Put them over to Target. Put them outside your favorite church today, the Baptist church, the synagogue, the temple. Look at all these Buddhist temple, okay? The place is loaded with people who love Buddhism. Is there a cop anywhere in sight? No. Why? We're sitting ducks. Wake up, America. Protect your flock.
I'm not disagreeing with you, John, that we shouldn't have more presence around, but it's a sad commentary on our country now that we're going the way of some of these other countries, that we have to go that way.
Well, Mike,
I think they were right sending the National Guard to some of these cities, but it's unfortunate that we have to go that length now.
Well, Mike, when you come back from your cruise, I'll be interested to learn how high security was in the places that you visit. Back to you, Cliff.
Fru.
Well, Cliff, what I will only say is when Mandani was running for mayor, people on this panel, they wanted to use his background as an African from Uganda, as a Muslim. But the Jewish community stood up in New York and campaigned for him and said the narrative that the media is painting of the Jewish people is wrong. They are loving, they are patriots, and they disagree with what was going on. I think that is the spirit, that when people keep on painting as if people are extremists and hoping that they were using that to bring down Mandani, but the people spoke. The voice of the people is more powerful than the people in power. And you could see the manifestation of the people of New York that stood up against all these divisions and the stereotypes that the media is placing. Even on this panel, there were people who were looking only the negative to paint Mandani as an Arab, as an African, not worthy, not intelligent or whatever. But something happened. And that is the same narrative that the whole world is seeing. You cannot continue to play the old game and think that you win. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. The whole world is seeing through.
Yeah. Well, I want to make it clear that I had nothing to do with what you're saying there, Fru. I just don't like the policies he wants to implement. And living in New York almost my entire life and seeing with New York City in that, I just think that, basically promising everything's going to be free, that doesn't work. And I want to make it clear that it was policies, not because he was Muslim or Arab. I don't really care about that. I only care about the policies that he wants to implement in New York City. And I think it's going to bankrupt the city.
Mike, it was not for you, it was for General, because everyone spoke for it. It was not, even though you are from New York, please excuse me, I was not targeting you.
No, I'm not saying you're accusing me. I just want to make sure the audience understands that it was, my personal opinions were about policy.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that clarification.
Eileen? Hello, Eileen?
Eileen is muted.
Yeah. She doesn't want to talk to us.
I do. It's just we're having a 12-year-old morning where we can't find hats and shoes or Anthony's. What's this? Right here. The slides. Yes, found. And now I think we have all our pieces together.
Okay.
Did you have any thought on this globalize the intifada issue, people?
I've never, honestly, I may be ignorant, but I've never even heard about it. I thought you guys were talking about a frittata.
Okay. One quick return to Africa, which actually I think of as not one thing, but a couple of things. And anyway, Claire Berlinski, who I follow what she writes. I don't believe everything she says, but she posted an article from a German newspaper, Allgemeiner, in which this guy says radical Islamist networks fed by a loose global coalition have turned the Sahel, the Maghreb, and the Horn of Africa into human abattoirs, which sort of a way of saying slaughterhouses. So, Fru, can you sort of point to the Maghreb, the Sahel, and the Horn of Africa?
This is Mali. This is the Sahel region. This is Mali. This is Burkina Faso. This is Niger, and this is Chad. This is Cameroon. This is Nigeria. This is Ghana, Ivory Coast, Central Africa, Sudan.
Yeah. So he says it's a lot of, the opponents, he says, answer with equal savagery, often genocide.
Well, Cliff, who wrote that article?
It's some German.
Well, that is a Western notion. Can I just ask your panelists? About 3 years ago, you always heard of the Al-Qaeda in the Maghreb. Al-Qaeda in the Maghreb. They were stationed here. This is Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. And those are the three nations that they had the civilian government that was being pushed by the West. The military guys took over. And the first thing that they noticed when the French were there, they would not allow the local military to go to certain places in their country. These are foreign the French armies in someone's country, but they would ban them from going to certain areas, and those areas were the rich mineral areas, and they were fomenting this terrorist group to be destabilizing. Ever since these three countries kicked out the French, there is stability in that area. And whatever the West writes about Africa, Cliff, if you want your true story, tell your story. When a foreigner tells your story, they make themselves the king and make you the bad one.
I get three messages here. I'm going to read them quickly. And let me vote. This one just came, so I'll blow him up a little bit. Here I sit broken-hearted, pay a dime, and only intrafaded. Whatever that means. Where would the National Guard stay in Lowell? Well, we got a hotel up the street there at the Industrial Lab. There's a nice hotel up there. They can set up tents on the common. That would be ironic. Oh, but we'll put them up in the hotel, and if they want to put tents on the South Common, well, it's okay. But the National Guard usually comes for the Folk Festival every year, and they stay for days. And the next one is a Grand Slam, Mike. It will be a policy that will drive the citizens out of Massachusetts. That's from Jay. Back over to you, Cliff.
And Cliff, I will just be brief, Cliff. All these Western experts, you ask them, have you ever stepped foot in Africa? None of them have not. And these are the people who feed us with their own ideology. The media takes it, and we here we are interpreting on it. If you ask this guy, probably he sits in the comfort of his room in the library and read all this, and he becomes an expert in the world. He has never stepped foot in Africa.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but to me, Africa is, I mean, I've set foot in Africa, but I've been in Libya.
If you step foot in North Africa, Egypt, and so that's not Africa. Most people in the West don't consider Egypt as part of Africa.
Well, I know geographically it's part of Africa.
No, but most people, when they visit, they themselves, with their ignorance, they don't believe Libya and all those northern fair-skinned countries, they don't believe that they are Africans.
Yeah. But it shows the diversity in Africa. Cultural diversity, for instance.
Yes.
So, well, how are we doing on time?
You got 4 minutes.
Right.
4 minutes.
3 minutes, actually. But I got a question for you guys. If they kicked you out of the United States, you're out of here. You and your family are out of here. Where would you go? So we're going to start off with the smartest man in the room, the perfect speller, the pronunciator of new words for us, Cliff. Cliff.
John, I'm not the smartest. I just give what I take from
No,
people.
I'm talking about Cliff. Talking about Cliff.
you.
I knew who he was talking about. I knew.
So, Cliff, where would you go? Briefly, I don't want Fru, you're going to be laughing because you're going to give me a fairy tale, but that's okay. Where do you want to go, Cliff? He has no answer. Okay, moving on to
I
Mike.
really don't know. By the way, a perfect speller, I once missed 21 on a 20
See,
question
he's
spelling test.
gone on to Fruland. Okay, Mike, where would you go?
Probably the New Zealand where my son lives.
Okay, Eileen, where would you go? Okay, she'd be going after school.
Wait. What's the question?
If we kicked you out of America, you and your family, where would you go?
Canada.
Okay, Fru, where would you go?
You know where I'll go to the land of where mankind started. I'll go to Africa.
Okay, thank you for your answer. Cliff, back over to you, time is short.
Okay, so Mike said he's not going to be here next week, so you want to give everyone a Christmas greeting?
Well, I'd like to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and happy holidays. Enjoy the time with family and friends. If you can help other people, if you see other people need help. We just had a big toy drive on Saturday where people were donating toys. And, maybe you might want to go out and do something for somebody. It's this time of year, there's a lot of people that are lonely and maybe by themselves who could use a little bit of help or companionship.
Well, Mike, with blessing from above, I pray that it rains down on all of us with peace, joy, and happiness wherever we are.
That sounds like a good termination. Thank you, Fru.
Fru, have a good week. We'll be back, kids. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, Cliff, you ready to go?
Yeah.
All right. Put your mics on. Here we go, kids.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to City Life Show. I'm Cliff Krieger, your host. Eileen Delrossi, my co-host, is here with us. Mike Smith is here with us. He will not be with us next Monday. He'll be on a cruise out in the Gulf of America.
Yeah, we'll be in the Caribbean.
Let me just give everybody who's going to go on vacation a little bit of advice. Take a look at your wallet. Only take the credit cards and IDs that you need for this trip. If you've got 45 credit cards like every woman in the world has in their pocketbook, you only need one or two. Don't take 45 credit cards with you. Don't take your gun permit. You just need your driver's license, your passport. Access your pocketbook and only bring the ID that you got and the credit card you want. Also, take these credit cards out of their wallet. Take a picture of them. So when somebody grabs your handbag, you know what credit cards they just stole. So any ID, you're going to bring both sides. If you don't have a picture of your driver's license on your phone, you're silly. How many times you run out of the house quick and go, oh, I forgot my wallet? You always bring your phone. So please take pictures of all this good stuff before you go anywhere. And also, for people going on cruise ships, put some of your stuff in her luggage and have her put some of your stuff, her stuff in your luggage, and so nobody's disappointed when one bag goes missing. Back over to you, Cliff. Thank you for the time.
Well, I did get a Merry Christmas item from somebody, and it shows Donald Trump wishing us Merry Christmas.
Beautiful. Congratulations. That'll go right nicely on your tree.
So, speaking of Christmas, I'm not sure what's going on down south in Dedham, where the priest, Father Stephen Jasoma, is defying the Archbishop with an anti-ice crush. It's a political message where they've removed Mary, Joseph, the baby Jesus, and replaced it by a sign saying something like taken by, ice was here.
Cliff, this is just an easy method for the media to portray let's hate Trump together.
Well, are you thinking the media paid this priest to do this?
Cliff, there are a lot of crazy things that happen around the country. Rob Reiner is the headline today that someone went into his house yesterday, murdered him and his wife. Both of them. That should be the top news story. Not that some clown that's a pastor out at, I'll tell you, this is the best story I can think of. Years ago, I'm driving the hearse, and I got this pain-in-the-neck priest who doesn't answer the phone at his rectory. He doesn't call people back. He's just real problematic to deal with. So he stuck with me in the hearse. We're on our way back from St. Joseph Cemetery, heading back to his parish. So I got like 10 minutes to talk to this guy. I says, hey, do you know what there was a priest in Nashua, in a very affluent parish, taking in, $15,000, $20,000 every single week. Very affluent parish, and the parish started to write letters. They wrote letters complaining about the pastor. So they invited the pastor into headquarters to the Archdiocese of New Hampshire, told him, hey, you got to clean up your act. Well, the letters of complaint continued. So he got moved to the Canadian border. That's what they do with pains in the neck with the Archdiocese of New Hampshire. If you don't want to kowtow and do what your audience wants, do what your parishioners want, you do most of all what headquarters wants, we'll move you to the Canadian border. And the priest says, why are you telling me this silly story? I said, because in the Archdiocese of Boston, they send those priests to Lowell. That was my story. He took it and he got angry.
I thought it was funny. So, in a way, it sort of changes the Christmas story in my mind, because Joseph, Mary, and Jesus are going down the road in their country to register for political reasons. They're doing a census. They're not foreigners. They are traveling to their hometown to register for the census. It's only after the three wise men visit that they become refugees and they flee to Egypt. So it sort of distorts the story, but I'm glad there's not a lot of that going on. But I thought that Eileen, you have any thoughts on this? Mike.
I'm not sure what I've got to say about that right now.
Okay.
I think it's just another way for the media to portray their hate for Trump.
So, Eileen? Yes, what Mike's response was going to be my response.
Oh.
Yeah,
Wait. If Mike already took that response, you need another one.
No, he read my mind all the way in Florida.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's an agenda, and like we've kind of joked sometimes, Trump could go around and give everybody $1 million and cure cancer and have total world peace, and they still would find something wrong with him. So he's the type of person that looks at things. They're going to hate me no matter what I do. So I'm just going to move forward with the agenda I'm working on, and I'm going to keep going until I get what I promised to do. And I know there's people who don't like it. Some people like it, some don't. And I don't like everything he wants to do. That's just normal. But he's not a typical politician. He is definitely an anomaly for the presidency or in politics. And if you ever listen to him, though, for how negative the press portrays him, every time he's talking, a lot of times he's like, this is great, we're going to move forward, this is going to be better for everybody. He doesn't get up there and say, oh, the economy's going to be terrible this year, and, you better all tighten your belts. He's always trying to talk positive, and I do have to give him credit for that. I don't agree with all his policies and everything he does, but he does usually try to talk positive. And he won't mince any words with people he doesn't like. I know that too. That's a New York City thing.
Well, that's true. So, property assessments are out. Did you check yours, Eileen?
Sorry, what did you say, Cliff? What's out?
Property assessments are out. Have you checked yours?
No.
No. Taxes are going up.
Oh. So, like, home value goes up, and then taxes go up, but the city essentially is the one that benefits.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I would hope some of that would help pay down that big debt on the school. What, 40?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how it's all done. It seems like it just. Oh, sorry. I just turned the TV on for my mom. It just seems like the schools are falling apart one after the other, and the money's going more towards affordable housing and making this city of Lowell more like the city of Boston, and I don't think that's fair to do.
Yeah. So changing tracks for a second, the law professor Jonathan Turley down in D.C., he says the European Union has virtually declared war on free speech and is targeting American companies. That war just began with the first DSA fine for violating their restrictions on free speech. Not surprisingly, X was the chosen target, a company blamed by many in the European Union and the U.S. for rolling back free speech protections. Except my recollection is when Elon Musk bought X, he opened up free speech. So, I don't know. You got thoughts?
I saw that article too, Cliff, and I'm like, really? X was canceling people out, restricting what they could say, and Musk said basically, all right, everybody, have free reign on what you want to say, as far as that goes. So I don't know what's going on there. The other thing is that people in the U.S. really don't pay attention to what's going on in a lot of places in the other part of the world. They just assume because we have free speech here, rights in the United States, everybody else who's in a democracy has that. That's entirely false. I mean, look to the north, just in Canada. Canada does not guarantee free speech rights. And I think a lot of people would be shocked at that. So for Europe to be clamping down on some of this, there's no guarantees in their constitutions or in their governments would guarantee free speech. They are getting more restrictive, but people take for granted here in the United States how unique our government, how unique our country is. And they should be more aware of that.
Yeah. Eileen?
Well, I mean, I think free speech is what's affecting a great deal in Massachusetts right now because of lots of cases, i.e. like the Sandra Birchmore, the Karen Reed case. I just think the more people talk, the more other people look at it as a liability because they want to control the narrative.
Yeah, the thing with Eileen, I agree. The thing you have to accept with free speech is there's going to be people aren't going to agree with you. And if your goal is to control the narrative and control what people are seeing so that you get them to think the way you want them to, then that's an issue. And with free speech, there's going to be a lot of times people are going to say stuff you don't agree with. And
but I guess my point is the government in Massachusetts wants to control the narrative and not have anybody else speak out. And the people in power want to control the narrative and just say, this is what I say and this is the way it is. And unfortunately, people are speaking out more and more and more and being prosecuted for it even here in Massachusetts, more than I've ever really seen.
You mean like Turtle Boy?
Yes.
Aiden Carney?
Yes, look at that poor guy for just asking, even we talk about this often on the show, but even the mainstream media doesn't really ask the questions anymore. And when I just look at these things, people who are actually doing the reporting, like Aiden Carney, Turtle Boy, get prosecuted for it with these witness intimidation charges, which are crazy because they're using a statute to shut somebody up and to scare them. And it's worked.
yeah, well, the people in power want to be the people in power. And when people speak out, it threatens their power or their position, especially if they've been doing things that are illegal or crooked or lying. So they want to shut people up because it threatens them in their position in power.
Right, but their position in power, they've abused, and somebody who actually speaks up and uncovers the truth are now getting persecuted for it.
Well, hopefully that when it goes to court or it goes in a trial, that'll come out that what they were doing was illegal. Not the people speaking out, but the people that were going after them.
But to me, it just seems like even the judges are corrupt the same way in Massachusetts. I think we live in an extremely, extremely corrupt state here in Mass. I'm a little envious of you, Mike.
Well, there's corruption all over. It's not just Massachusetts, but what happens is what I see from Massachusetts and New York, where I was, is there's no opposite view or no opposite talking, because in Massachusetts and New York, one political party controls everything, even more so in Massachusetts. Because in Massachusetts you have 2 Democratic senators and all your representatives in Congress are all in the Democratic Party. So there's no opposite or other opinion. So, they control everything, and that's why you're seeing what you're talking about. And New York is going more and more that way too. That's another reason why I moved out of New York to Florida. I mean, down here, you do have opposite views. The Republican Party has a lot of people in the state government, but Democrats have too. They just elected a new Democratic mayor in Miami. So
this may, obviously, I'm ignorant towards what New York State is? Is that a Republican state or is it?
No, it's Democratic. It's Democratic. They control both the House and the Senate. They have the majority in both of those. Plus, the governor is Democratic. The mayor of New York City is Democratic. You know, all this. You know, when you get into Western New York, going towards Niagara Falls and Buffalo, you'll see some Republicans there. But even major cities like Rochester, where I grew up, that's run by the Democrats too. So it's what happens is that when you have one party so dominant in a state or area, then you lose all opposite views or different viewpoints. And when somebody does that, it's a threat to their power. And they nowadays with social media and that, they'll cancel or they'll come out against you. And unfortunately, not everything that's being said is true.
Mike, I think what the resolution for New York and Massachusetts is, tell your children to move out of the state. There's no hope for Massachusetts. Massachusetts is corrupt, too expensive, and it's just taking on more water. It's going to sink that way. It's going to sink in its own corruption and overtaxing. Look at the city of Lowell. Taxes are going up. You know what's going to happen in the next city council meeting? Nice job, Mr. Manager.
It's funny. You're talking about taxes going up in Lowell, and in Florida, they want people who own homes. They don't want to get rid of property taxes down there. The governor of Florida is trying to get rid of people who own homes and live in Florida year round. Get rid of their property taxes.
I got three checks. I got three checks I want to read to you, the audience. When you have elected officials fighting an audit that citizens want, yes, there's corruption. Mike, with two to come from behind victories, is Buffalo going to go all the way this year?
Well, they've had more than two come from behind. I have to always check my blood pressure after those games. But their defense wins championships. Their defense, unless I see it improve, I don't see them going to the Super Bowl. And I'm a Buffalo fan, and it breaks my heart that their defense is so inconsistent. My vote would be is to get a new defensive coordinator that actually has some creativity and understands things so we can do better. Because Josh Allen, I know they call him Superman, and he brought the team back yesterday again, but even he has limits. And, he can't do it all himself. It's a team sport. The defense, they just need to show up for the whole 60 minutes. Yesterday they showed up in the second half better, but the first half it's like they had been out at a party all night and we're still recovering from a hangover. So they need to be more consistent because if they won't make it to the Super Bowl if they don't have a better defense.
Last comment from the audience, Mike. Don't forget, don't go to those islands with all your jewelry on, and enjoy Mr. Smith Happy Holidays. Back over to you, Cliff.
We're not doing any excursions. We're just going to relax on the boat. We've cruised before. We've traveled many places before. We know all that about the jewelry. We know what John was talking about earlier. I mean, we do all that ahead of time. Great advice, John, for that. But we don't plan on the places that we're going. We've been to some of those before. We just want to go and relax on the ship, enjoy the weather, enjoy the holidays. I'm sure we'll get some pictures to send to you. I'm sure the cruise ship will be really well decorated for Christmas because we'll be there over Christmas.
Yeah. Someone who's been on the show before, Melanie Gilbert, wrote in a column about her experience. She was downtown to take some pictures, and she found an open spot on Lee Street by St. Joseph the Worker Shrine. She was parked across the street, and she took some street to the Kirk Street side of Lowell High School, and walking back to her car, she saw the meter person pulling out. I wonder if that's if meter maid is now out. Anyway, she was the meter person had her tablet out, and she was writing her a ticket. And so she shouted out, "Hey, I still have 3 minutes on that meter," and waving a little paper receipt. But it turned out that they'd already called the tow truck. So,
You gotta be kidding me.
well,
That is just so crazy to me because that quickly, like, it just makes absolutely no sense.
well,
This is
here's the thing. Here's the thing. She was parked in front of the Shannon Lawley Sidewalk Memorial, and that's a B-no. And they didn't have the white stripes of a parking space. It was just an open place. I've been tempted to park there myself, but have passed it up.
Cliff, we have a very greedy city council that's going after the few people who shop in downtown Lowell.
and just to visit, like Melanie, I mean, she works for the city. She should even have like some type of a special pass to be able to park. And they really towed her car. I didn't read the column, but
Rest of the story. She explained her situation to the meter person, and the meter person accepted that she had made an honest mistake. She had the receipt and all that. They canceled the tow truck.
oh, good.
But Melanie felt sufficiently motivated by this experience to say, don't park across the street from the St. Joseph the Worker Shrine unless you're in a real parking space.
Now, Cliff, let me just tell you the contrast and difference between downtown and my neighborhood. Now, we're about half mile from downtown Lowell, walking distance. But it's quite suburban. We got plenty of elbow room up here. It's a nice neighborhood, right across from the Rogers School. We will call the police when somebody parks in front of the fire hydrant. That's the only time we call the cops. When somebody parks in front of the fire. So if they park in front of the fire hydrant while school's being brought in or school's being brought out, I ignore it. But if there's somebody parked in front of the fire hydrant and it's 9 o'clock in the morning, that car's got to get out of here. The Lowell police will show up, get the license plate, go into the Rogers School. They'll make an announcement over the bullhorn of the whole school. Hey, you better move your car. We're going to have to tow it. And they get the teacher out of the school to move their car. Just a contrast in difference. The cops are a lot more sympathetic towards people who park by mistake. Nobody deliberately parks next to a fire hydrant. You were just in a rush. You didn't notice it. The cops are doing the right thing. Meanwhile, the city parking division decides, we're going to tow this car. It's the most wonderful time of the year. And this is what you're doing to the citizenry? This is wrong, City Council. You are too greedy. Who we got? The Grinch that stole Christmas. We got to find a City Council for that name. Mr. Scrooge. Do we have any bad woman for Christmas time? That we can nickname the City Councilors? It's just, you shouldn't be towing people's cars.
They did not tow Melanie's car.
Cliff, I read the article too, but they would have towed your car, wouldn't they?
But what if it wasn't here's the thing, right? And this is what I think of. What if it wasn't somebody that could communicate well, like Melanie can, and she has a nice way about her, and they were more upset about it, and they came across like angry. People don't like that. that's going back to the whole free speech thing. Like, nobody wants to hear it, even if they are wrong. You know what I mean? Like, if Melanie came across like, lady, what the heck? Like, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Like, or gave any type of attitude because of what happened. And one is justifiable in that case. You know what I mean? Like, if it wasn't somebody who was articulate and good communicator like Melanie, what if? Like, they would have been screwed. Their car would have been towed.
This tow business, it irks me because they're just making room for another sucker to pull in there. That's all they're doing. I can sit here in my parking car all day, get these cars towed, really, and I can sit there and laugh when the person shows up wondering where their car is, waiting for another person. I'd like to know who that person was and reprimand them for such conduct. They should give a ticket first, wait an hour, and if it's still on the way, tow the car. But this business of ticket and tow, only a cop can do that, not a parking clerk. That's my takeaway.
And my other part is, what happens to the funds for the fine, the violation, and the towing? Who makes out with that? The city?
City
the towing
council.
company?
City council. Yes, more money for us.
I guess I have the question. I've been listening, and maybe I missed something. But was there signs up that said no parking there?
Nope.
If they don't have no parking signs there, how are they going to ticket you? You know, is there like in Florida or New York, they have like no parking signs, only 2 hours, parking. They have all kinds of signs up so people know. If there's no signs there, I don't even understand why they're looking to tow the car or ticket her or whatever. I just don't understand it.
I think the city's taken advantage of the fact that they're not well prepared or organized, right? And then just charging the other people. Like, that's the sad part. The city could do a heck of a lot better upkeep with all the signs and all the things, but they're taking advantage of the fact that they haven't, and how can we screw other people? And raise their taxes at the same time. That's the part that kills me.
Well, I mean, you can go.
The no parking sign had been there, it had been knocked over, and hadn't been replaced yet. But
Well, there you go.
Hey, I got a bunch of texts I'm going to read. Whether you like it or not, I got these texts I'm going to read. I can just shut your mic off if I have to. When have the elected officials... Cliff, I'm going to read these 3 texts, then I'm going to go back over to you, please. When you have elected officials fighting for an audit, that's old. Never mind that one. What's your favorite food on the cruise, Mike?
Oh, well, let's see.
You can think about that. I got one more text. You can think about that.
Okay, thank you.
I can only bet that when Heinz Tavern building is up and occupied, how many vehicles will be towed? Good point. So, Mike, what's your favorite food on the cruise?
Well, on this cruise ship, because I always look at menus ahead of time, they have escargot a lot of times for dinner as an appetizer you can choose from. And it's not something I get all the time, but I like it. So I'd have to say I look forward to having the choice of that at dinner.
Well, I encourage you to try, if possible, the sea bass. If they offer sea bass, give it a try. I couldn't believe how scrumptious sea bass is.
Okay. All right, I'll keep that in mind.
My favorite is the prime rib. Cliff, do you have a favorite when the food is free?
Oh, anything if it's free.
Okay. Eileen, do you have a favorite when food is free?
Free food and somebody else preparing it is like my heaven on earth. So, no. And I still want to go to that Golden Corral. That's my mission in life. When's my pick for Monday Night Dinner Club?
I don't know. We're in the tease right now. Tedesco. I think Phil Tebow's next week.
Okay.
So a little while. Back over to you, Cliff.
I would like to find a place that has sauerbraten.
Sauerbraten?
So I'm going to let you know, Cliff, on that one because they're in the process. They haven't opened it. They're going to open a new German restaurant from us, around the corner from us. So I will let you know if they have that, and I'll try it out, and I'll give you a report on it.
Oh, good. Yeah. It's too much work to prepare it for my wife to indulge me in that very much. So, Eileen,
Yes.
what's going on with the Methuen School Superintendent?
Oh, that makes me so sad. As you know, I worked there for the past 3 years. Had amazing experience there, and that superintendent, even last year when I was bringing Anthony back and forth to school and was in such a transition, she was like, please don't quit. You have FMLA, so just record the hours that you're able to get here. Not many people are humanistic like that, right? And understanding. And she was. And to me, that speaks volumes of like what a human being and a boss is, right? And to hear all of this nonsense of the school committee, whoever maybe got in on the school committee or is against her, giving a no confidence vote. And now she's out on medical leave. Like, you give 17 years of your life. That's like a miracle in Lowell Public Schools to have a superintendent for 17 consecutive years. And her children go to the school district, and she's completely invested. And then to hear that, like, talk about political insanity.
Well, Eileen, let me ask you this question, okay? Behind the scenes, I talked to school committee members, and as long as I've been in this media gig, whether it was radio or TV, there's always been somebody out there that says, it's time for that person to go. And I'm sure you hear this from your own colleagues on the school committee. They'll say, hey, it's time that this person go. And it's off meeting, but when they go to the meeting, they're very saintly. Give my sister a job. But off camera, let's get rid of this dude. Do you hear that from your colleagues, Eileen?
No, I don't think I've been on the school committee long enough because they just do it. They get rid of it. But right when I got on, it was like, let's do an evaluation for Joel Boyd. Let's do an audit or a human resource audit. And then these things are already set in motion. The votes are had, right? And it's just like, it's too fast, too quick, and who's making these decisions? Like elected officials who aren't, I'm not saying they're not invested in the schools. They obviously are, in the community and so forth. But to have a child in those school districts or to work for that school district and to see these constant changes, and it's like superintendent is king and they get all the political power and the choices. And, you know, I mean, Joel Boyd, I would say, was one of the most humanistic, smart people. I mean, who knows otherwise? I don't really know. I mean, who would want to be a superintendent and have all those pressures? It's literally like a political appointment when you become a superintendent. And it comes with all those powers. And so if you're I mean, I guess you're in the game of politics when you're a superintendent as well. But for someone to have survived 17 years and then someone makes that decision, she's done, or whatever, it's disheartening.
Reading this text, it says, illegal parking has to be enforced. When Elm Street, formerly known as the ski slope, is busy with traffic, it's difficult to maneuver as parking on the sidewalk is back. Where do you want to park, DW? I bet you have a driveway. Don't pick on my neighbors. Back over to you, Cliff.
Well, Eileen, we have a school committee meeting this week, right?
Yes, we do. Thank you for reminding me. I haven't even looked at the packet yet of what's going on.
Well, did you submit a motion?
Yes, I submitted 2 motions.
And they were?
The first first one was to have the superintendent work with the proper city officials to have somebody survey the stairs at the bottom of the Robinson School that leads onto Bridge Street, because they're really unsafe, and the crossing guard there is really good, and she's like always worried, you know what I mean? So I think that was a good one. And then the other one was to have all the schools, as we talked about this a bit on Friday, all the schools have their own budget, and they have a school site council that decides what their individual school needs, and the principal is kind of head of it. But I just put a motion in to like have that to be posted on all the different schools, so that there's more overall transparency, and we're just not told about what's going on at this school or that school in a meeting, so we understand it better.
Okay. Crossing guards, are they volunteers? Are they hired by the city, hired by the school?
You know what? They get paid, crossing guards get paid out of the city's maintenance of effort agreement. So, technically, they're hired by the city. That was interesting when I read through that maintenance of effort agreement. Because I don't think I'm pretty sure they could figure out a way to like put it into the schools to better them.
We need crossing guards, absolutely positively. People just ignore the kiddos. It's terrible.
Yeah. I walk in the mornings here, and I'm right near the high school, Largo High School, and they have crossing guards. And they make sure people get across the street, Missouri, because it's a busy street to get to the high school. They're there, and they do a good job. I just want to get back a little bit what Eileen was talking about with the superintendent. That's a job just looking to burn you out, a superintendent's job. It is a political appointment, and to survive that long for 17 years, I would believe that lady must have been doing something correct. It's a no-win job to be a superintendent, because there's always parents that their kid, is the best kid in the world, and why did that teacher fail him, or why are they picking on my kid, or whatever. And the time that you have to put in, it would be interesting to break down the actual hours a superintendent spends every week on the job, and then look at the pay they're getting, because a lot of it is not seen. They have to go to athletic event. There's all kinds of things they have to attend as a superintendent, similar to like a principal at a school, only on a wider basis. The meetings they have to go to.
Hey, I just want to remind the audience, it's 14 degrees out. It's wicked windy, so please make sure you drive your kiddo to school, and if you see a pedestrian, let the pedestrian cross the street, please. It's wicked cold, 14 degrees, and look at that flag flapping, man. It's windy. Back to you, Cliff.
Yep. Yeah, go ahead, Eileen.
I was just going to say, last year, a bunch of teachers were cut because of the potential funding situation that was going to happen. And she had to make those tough decisions and let those people go. But she did her darndest as soon as the district found out that they have actually more money to get all those teachers back after essentially pink slipping them. So I guess to me, the humanistic part of her is something you don't always see in a superintendent, right? It's more like transactional. Right, and to me, she was invested into the school district, into being a human being. She taught in the district, then became superintendent. So, and I have to tell you, in my whole 20 plus years of teaching, I've never experienced such amazing people to work with as I did in Methuen Public Schools. Everybody, they had your back. They were good people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough job. I mean, you have to make tough choices, like you're saying, with budgets and all that. And being more human and being more showing empathy goes a long ways in helping people out. So.
Yeah. Final words on that, Eileen?
No, it's another issue of, just, I think, power and corruption, the politics of the public education. It's funny, one of Anthony's friend's mother grew up in San Diego, and she was telling me some stories of when she moved to Massachusetts that kind of highlighted the corruption, the politicalness, and so forth. And she's like, is this like the most corrupt state? I said, you know what? I would go top Massachusetts corruption, second one, I said Chicago, Illinois, and then third one, Michigan, Detroit, Michigan. That's what I do. But I think if we can all make a list and compare it.
Well, Eileen, Massachusetts' problem is they won't admit it. Yet you can walk up to most state employees, and I say most, almost every city employee, and ask them who got you your job. And they'll name the city councilor or the elected official or the administrator that gave them the job. They weren't qualified for it. They got it because they had a connection. Happens in Massachusetts, all over the place. If you want something done, you got to call your state rep. Why is your state rep so popular? He, she got me a job.
Yeah,
and the same thing in Lowell. They won't admit it. Go ahead, sorry.
I know, and when you look at it, and I didn't realize all of this until I got on the school committee and in politics, it's not even the school committee members or so much the city council members that are pulling the strings. It's maybe the state reps, maybe definitely the speaker of the house and their cronies, and there are certain names that you hear that are very dominant in this city, and they pull all the strings with all the people.
Eileen, respectfully, okay, I live across the street from the Rogers School, and the city made the mistake of making the headquarters for the school department in the Rogers School. For 1 or 2 years, I forget how many years. So I used to sit there in my office and see school committee members in the middle of the week going in to see the superintendent. Very frequently during the day.
That's crazy.
And I would ask them, hey, I saw you over at the superintendent's office. Oh, yeah, I had a friend of mine. He was having trouble getting a position.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's what happens when you have a one-party rule in the whole state. So they have such control over everything that the only way to get positions or whatever is you got to get somebody to do a favor for you. And, of course, then you owe them a favor. So.
Well, the solution for Massachusetts is tell your children to move to New Hampshire.
We need to talk about this moving thing. Eileen, Anthony's friend's mother, does she show other signs of mental and emotional instability?
I mean, women automatically show signs of mental and emotional instability. No, she doesn't to me. She sounds like she has like a kid around the same age as my kid and is just trying to survive this world of...
She left San Diego.
I know, she said it was a really nice part. Yeah. No, I didn't even ask her honestly why she left to come here. Maybe she went to college here. I'm not 100% sure. But I mean, she definitely has quite an amazing life here. And I mean, even still, she's horrified by all the corruption and stuff. And her, I don't want to get too into it, but she definitely had a situation where her dad was in the same field, and he even tried to call to like explain a situation. They were like, no, like Boston was going to do it their way, and it just there's no place like home, I guess, right? This
Right.
great state of Massachusetts.
Well, in the great Commonwealth here, we're going to have 40-plus questions proposed to go on the ballot. That is going to be a long ballot. And for the Boston Globe, quote, people have written off the legislature as a place to enact meaningful policy. And
Okay,
I
I'm going
think
to read
that's-
these two texts. The global warming nuts have to explain this one. It's been extremely cold this winter. Does Mike feel bad for us when Mr. McD mentions the temperature outside? Have a great time on your cruise. That's from Bart. Back to you, Cliff.
Okay.
The part of Lowell that I live in, it's only 12 degrees right now.
I don't feel bad for you. I just don't want to be in that weather anymore, and that's why we moved. I lived in New York all my life. I actually taught skiing and snowboarding part-time. I had lived 20 minutes from a ski area, so I enjoyed the winter when it was here, but now I want to move to Florida and enjoy the weather that's down here.
Well, so, ballot questions. I'm not sure that if we pass a ballot question, the legislature will, and the state government will implement it, but, look at what's happening with audit the state. We voted to audit the state government, and we're getting all sorts of pushback, including from the Attorney General. This is not good.
Well, I'm just going to say they have to form a committee to discuss on how they're going to implement it. Then they have to figure out who they're going to have implement it. And so it's just a stalling tactic because probably there's stuff going to come out from that audit that they don't want people to see.
Right, and from what I understand from what Tara Hong and even from Rodney Elliott, what he said is that they said that she can do the audit, but it has to be an independent vendor, but that the government chooses, that somebody will choose from the State House, and we all know how that will go in this great state.
Well, Eileen, on that point, okay, it's kind of like, okay, there I am on 495. I'm doing 150 miles an hour, heading to the beach. I get pulled over, and I look the state cop right in the eye and say, I want an independent police officer to pull me over. Go away. We have an auditor, duly elected.
Right. It's what she specializes in.
Do your job. Why can't that
And she
state
does
cop?
a good job.
Why should that state cop have a right to give me a ticket? I want an independent police officer. I don't get it, and neither should the guy who runs the state house.
And, well, you're right. And why should we be taking Massachusetts taxpayer money to actually pay more to somebody else instead of our duly elected person?
Well put.
Well, the question I see is that people are asking probably is, why are they doing this? And my answer to that is because they can. You know, they have such control that they can get away with this stuff. And that's the problem with not having any kind of opposition.
Checks and balances.
Yeah, checks and balances, yes.
From the audience, we all say this state and the media are horrible. Why do they all live here? What's the attraction? They got a job. That's the attraction. They got a nice job.
Yep.
Yeah, and they got plenty of money from whoever they're getting all these kickbacks from as well.
Oh, I hope they're not getting kickbacks.
Oh, Cliff, come on. But we may not ever know because free speech is not really welcome in this state.
Yeah, but it's not just unique to Massachusetts. I mean, it's very bad in Massachusetts from what I've seen and researched, and from what I'm hearing from all of you. But New York, in a lot of ways, is not any better, even though there are Republicans that that represent in Congress there. But it's New York City, it's the same as Boston. I mean, it's not any different the way it's controlled.
Yeah. So, amongst the petitions, one is a rent control petition.
What? Can you say that again?
Rent control. So that limit 5%. I think this will not increase the housing stock. I will be voting no. The Pioneer Institute would amend the state zoning law to allow construction of homes on lots as small as 5,000 square feet if you have a 50-foot frontage and access to water and sewer. There's two versions of a voter ID law.
Cliff, when are we voting on these?
What?
When are we voting on these?
All right. If it's a change to mass law, we'll vote on it next year. If it's a change to the mass constitution, we'll vote on it in 2028.
Okay, we can let it wait till then.
I have a question in terms of now that we're having the preliminary elections and the special election in March for senator, and we have Vanna Howard, Joe Espinola, and Rodney Elliott.
Sam Meese too. I'm going to read this. All states run by blue elected officials. Sam Meese, he's running as a Republican.
All right. So then what happens if a Rodney Elliott gets elected? Or Vanna Howard, when's the special election going to be to fill their positions?
There won't be one. There's not enough time.
You sure?
I'm confident, but I'm not sure, but no one in the state can give you a straight answer.
I'm going to go ask our election person, Will.
Okay.
All right.
Good.
And I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Good. So, Mike, what did you have in your mind that we didn't cover today?
Well, I'll just mention before I forget that in addition to today being Bill of Rights Day, today is also National Cupcake Day. So, yeah, and Kathy and I's anniversary today. So,
Oh, happy anniversary.
yeah, we get to spend all day right after the podcast running the bocce league all day.
Oh, okay.
That's hot.
How long have you been together?
13 years we've been together.
Oh, congratulations.
But we are going out someplace tonight, so we are dressing up and going out. So
Where are you guys going? Tell me about it.
well, I can't say out loud because I didn't tell Kathy where we're going yet. So
Oh, is it a nice? Well, we want a full report next Monday.
it's a nice restaurant. I know it is. It's a nice restaurant. It'll have good food, and we'll have a view of the water down here. So it's a nice restaurant. So
Okay, next Monday, you're gonna tell us like where it was and what the menu. Huh?
He's not here Monday, so we have to send us an email.
I will have internet and Wi-Fi on the cruise ship, so I may, if I'm up early enough in the morning, I may send you a text then and let you know. So.
Oh, thank you. Or you can make it. When do you leave?
We leave on Sunday, a week from yesterday. We're leaving on the 21st.
Maybe you can make a special call-in experience to Cliff on Friday.
Oh, well, yeah. What time is the podcast on Friday?
Same time.
Same time. I might be able to, because I golf every Friday morning. We usually golf around a little after 7 o'clock. So, all right,
Okay.
maybe I can call in and let him know. I'll
Thank
try.
you. Thank you.
Okay.
Wait. Maybe Kathy could call in and give us an overall appraisal.
Well,
Of how
she
you
could.
did.
Yeah. How I did. That's what they want. They wanted you to call in Friday morning and see if you can give an appraisal on how
Okay.
Why is it always the guy on how they did? You know.
Because we do a lot. I can't hear it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got my here. Let me pull this out.
We're the ones that have the babies.
The
We're the
headphones
ones
then.
that, so the woman gets the right, Kathy. You do. There we go, yeah.
Tell them how I've done so far over the years.
Every year he always surprises me. He never tells me where we're going. It's always a surprise.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Well, there's
You all
that
have a very
advertisement.
nice Christmas. Well, think about everybody when we're sitting in the sun, though, down on that boat. We
Thanks,
call
Kathy.
it a little boat.
Hey, tomorrow, City Life, we're going to have Tom Bomo's going to be here, Bob Hoey, Francisco Maldonado, Marty Laurie, and Freddie Bahu. That's tomorrow, City Life. Time is short, Cliff.
Well, I wish everybody, I wish the people down in Largo a Merry Christmas and a very nice cruise. And we have a final item.
So, John, people who use a wheelchair or other mobility devices don't have the right to get on Elm Street because these people choose to live there. There is limited parking. Yep, that's right. Thanks, DW.
Okay.
I'm being
So-
facetious.
Eileen, go ahead. Wrap it up.
Well, I'm going to go down to City Hall and visit Will and ask him about that election question that I had. It's still 12 degrees in Christian Hill, but it's beautiful after the light snow that he had. And I hope everybody stays warm, has strong curtains to keep the drafts out of their house. And I hope everyone has a very nice, happy Monday.
And I hope DW has those studded tires on his wheelchair today. You're going to need them.
So, Eileen, ask Will if he sent me those URLs.
10 seconds.
Yes, I will do that, Cliff.
Thanks.
Goodbye,
Bye-bye,
everybody.
everybody.
And I'll let
Right.
you know.
Drive your kiddo to school.
Everybody have a good day today.
You know what happened Friday? I had to go pick Anthony up because he wanted to go to his friend's house that lives around there. And you know what happened? Because you're so right, my life is snake bitten. It's like my transmission started to slip on the car. I was like, after I took it on Thursday to get oil change, the coolant, all of these things, and it started to slip. But